Good afternoon. My name is Donna Elliott, and I'm the Vice Dean for Medical Education. Thank you all for joining us for this important celebration of our graduates and for everyone's contribution to ensuring a successful and joyous event. Please stand for the singing of the national anthem, which will be performed by degree candidates from the class of 2024, Nathan Corman and Yasko Mano.
The Star-Spangled Banner is a protest song about conflict and ideals, and 35,000 people have been killed in Gaza. 24 hospitals have been bombed. Every single university has been destroyed by our government, in our name, but are these our ideals? Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the brave and the home of the brave.
Faculty and guests, and most importantly, graduates, I'm pleased to welcome you and declare commencement ceremonies for the Keck School of Medicine of the University of Southern California open. Dr. Soni, please come to the podium and lead us in the invocation.
As we come together this year to commemorate commencement, we do so at a time of great pain for our university. Indeed, the crises that have consumed our world and our campus have made this a commencement season unlike any other. As a result, even though this is usually a time of great celebration, there are also so many in our community right now who are wrestling deeply with anger, with grief, and with fear. And yet, what connects us as fully realized human beings is that we all want to turn pain into hope. We all want to turn fear into love, and we all want to be part of the solution to the world's great crises and not part of the problem. To the graduating students of the Keck School of Medicine, as you leave campus and make your place and way in a rapidly changing world, you will confront 5 major crises facing us all today. The first 4 crises of war, justice, health, and sustainability are well known. And so many of you here will selflessly and courageously devote your lives to solving these 4 crises, especially the crisis of health. The 5th crisis, however, is the most urgent and the least understood. And without solving the 5th crisis, we can't solve the other 4. And the only way to solve the 5th crisis is for all of us to solve it together. The 5th crisis is a crisis of joy. We have a full-blown crisis of joy in the world today, and maybe that shouldn't be a surprise, because it's hard to feel joy when you wake up each day with devastating news about the world. And it's hard to feel joy when you're just trying to get by each day amidst the intense pressures of school and work. But the harder it is for us to feel joy, the more important it becomes for us to embrace it. In a culture that is defined by burnout and exhaustion, embracing joy is our critical lifeline. And in the age of anxiety and outrage, embracing joy is our act of defiance. In thinking about the nature of joy, His Holiness, the 14th Dalai Lama of Tibet, said, Joy is the reward of seeking to give joy to others. When you show compassion, when you show caring, when you show love to others, do things for others. In a wonderful way, you have a deep joy that you can get in no other way. And that's why we are here this afternoon. We are here to show love for our graduating students, and we are here to give joy to each other at a time when we need it most. And so, as we come together to celebrate achievement and honor excellence, may we all be inspired to bring our own gifts of love and joy to the altar of humanity. May we recognize once again that we are not isolated beings, but deeply connected in mystery and in miracle to this community, to this university, and to each other. And may we all say together, amen. Please be seated.
Thank you, Dr. Soni. It is now with great pleasure that I introduce Dr. Carolyn Meltzer, Dean of the Keck School of Medicine of USC, and the John and May Hoovel Dean's Chair in Medicine. Dr. Meltzer, I present to you the class of 2024.
Members of the class of 2024, families, friends, faculty, and staff, welcome and congratulations to our graduates. Today is a day of celebration, a chance to honor a major personal and professional milestone. Graduates, you started your medical school journey during the most difficult days of the pandemic. That whole first year, you could only be on campus for your clinical training. Everything else was virtual, depriving you of the fullest experience of close and supportive connections among each other and with our medical education team. Many of you faced challenges no one could have previously imagined. I was a medical student at the very start of the AIDS-HIV crisis. This experience of feeling helpless in the face of a new and deadly disease that affected not only my patients, but also close friends, is an experience that both humbled me and inspired in me a very deep and lifelong commitment to be the best possible physician I could be, always. You took those difficult days of the COVID pandemic and transformed yourselves through them. You persevered and you flourished. Those experiences shaped you into who you are today. Physicians who understand how to heal and how to lead, even or especially in a crisis. And now you're crossing the finish line. Now you're beginning the next stage of your journey. The worlds of medicine and healthcare are changing more rapidly than ever before, and we're going to need you to lead the way for the next generation. What does it mean to lead the way? To me, it means at least two things. One, always keep learning. Stay on top of the newest developments in your field. How we provide care and how we understand medicine and disease are evolving at breakneck speed. And thankfully, new discoveries are reaching patients faster than ever before, with greater precision and promising outcomes. Rapidly accelerating technologies, such as artificial intelligence, are letting us ask and answer questions we couldn't even dream about 10 or 15 years ago. You have the opportunity and perhaps the duty to differentiate between harnessing AI and relying on it. AI is a tool. It's not a replacement for your judgment, expertise, and thinking. I prefer to use the term augmented intelligence rather than artificial intelligence, as it is the health professionals who bring judgment, intellectual curiosity, and cultural humility to ensure that such tools help us to promote health, equity, and justice. So commit to being lifelong learners. Commit to being in the vanguard of your specialty. You're finishing medical school today, but your education in some ways is just beginning. There's a second thing I believe that leading the way means. It means fully embracing your identity as physician leaders. In the months and years to come, you'll be caring for patients, yes, but you'll also be leading teams. And I encourage you to embrace the lens of a servant leader as you problem solve, educate trainees, and build and contribute to interprofessional care teams. I encourage you to step into this role of a physician leader with kindness and with courage. Be an advocate with and for those in need. Stay in conversation with your patients, your colleagues, and your community. And understand that our differences, whether personal or professional, make for stronger teams. Approaching all who you meet with compassion, humility, and a learning mindset. These will be the cornerstone of your success. In the year 2000, the elders of an indigenous nation known as the Hopi tribe issued a prophecy. They spoke of the urgency of the present moment and the challenges of the coming century. I'll close with a few words adapted from what the elders wrote. There is a river flowing now very fast. It is so great and swift that there are those who will be afraid. They will try to hold on to the shore. They will feel they are being torn apart and will suffer greatly. But know that the river has its destination. Let go of the shore. Push off into the middle of the river. Keep our eyes open and our heads above the water. We are the ones we've been waiting for. Class of 2024, you are the ones we've been waiting for. Best wishes on the next stage of your journey. At this time, I'd like to introduce the department chairs who are present today as members of the platform party. As your name is announced, please briefly stand at your seat. Audience members, please hold your applause until the conclusion of the introductions. Chair of the Department of Emergency Medicine, Dr. Karl Chodnovsky. Chair of the Department of Family Medicine, Dr. Janai Robinson. Chair of the Department of Medical Education, Dr. Donna Elliott. Chair of the Department of Ophthalmology, Dr. J. Martin Herr. Chair of the Department of OBGYN, Dr. Joseph Azunian. Chair of the Department of Otolaryngology, Dr. John Ogalai. And Chair of the Department of Radiology, Dr. Jamlik Omari Johnson. Thank you all for joining us on this momentous occasion to celebrate the class of 2024.
I would now like to introduce the medical education leadership team who are present today as members of the platform party. Again, as your name is announced, please stand briefly at your seat, and audience, please hold your applause until the conclusion of the introductions. Senior Associate Dean for Medical Education, Dr. Ron Benary. Associate Dean for Admissions, Dr. Raquel Arias. Associate Dean for Diversity and Inclusion, Dr. Joyce Ritchie. Associate Dean for Student Affairs, Dr. Tanisha Price Johnson. Assistant Dean for Curriculum, Dr. Kevin Nash. Assistant Dean for Clinical Curriculum, Dr. David Diller. Assistant Dean for Medical Student Research, Dr. Jeffrey Riddell. Assistant Dean for Career Advising, Dr. Stephanie Zia. Assistant Dean for Student Development, Dr. Raina Nash. And Assistant Dean for Assessment and Scholarship, Dr. Chachi Feng. I would also like to acknowledge all of the medical education faculty who have joined us today as members of the Platform Party. Thank you all for your leadership, guidance, and support that you've provided to the class of 2024. It is my pleasure now to introduce the class co-presidents, Neelish Bagrodia and Colleen Trotter, who will introduce the commencement speakers.
Good afternoon. It's my pleasure to introduce our student commencement speaker, Andrew Drake. He originally is from nearby Riverside, California, and completed a degree in history at the University of California, San Diego. After college, he spent 8 years in Morocco working with the Peace Corps and then became a teacher in Korea, where he later met his wife. He will soon begin his psychiatry residency training at UCSF Fresno in psychiatry and is looking forward to reuniting with his 2-year-old son after graduation, who lives in Korea. Let's give him a warm welcome.
Hello, I'm Andrew Drake, and I'm here to deliver the discharge summary for the class of 2024. You may be familiar with discharge summaries. They document what brought a patient to the hospital, what happened during their stay, and their condition at discharge. When you're boiling it down, though, a discharge summary is a story. For most of us, our story at Keck School of Medicine began in 2020. For others, it was a little earlier than that. But for all of us, our path to where we are right now started long before then, punctuated with formative moments and individuals, some of whom are not able to be here with us today. As such, as I recap our story, behind me, in front of me, you'll see images from our childhood. You'll see images in remembrance of loved ones that have passed on. There's new additions to our families we'd like you to see. And finally, snapshots of our time here at Keck. The first page of our story at Keck opens in the summer of 2020. Take a moment to put yourself in that place. It was a time defined by isolation, upheaval, and profound loss. COVID-19 was claiming countless lives, livelihoods felt insecure as businesses closed and workers stayed home, and a lot of people were getting into some good trouble so that their experience of injustice was heard. Meanwhile, at least for me, there was a lot of staying at home, a ton of Zoom, and way too much wine. Classes initially featured hand puppet mnemonics, virtual anatomy, and often over by mid-afternoon. There were a lot of emotions running hot at that time, both out there in the real world and within the virtual walls of our Zoom classroom. Right or wrong, opinions were strong on face masks, staying separated, and racial justice. Maybe what really was going on, though, was frustration at being powerless in the face of so much tragedy. I know there was an element of that frustration among us because here we were in medical school, sometimes told how noble we were for choosing to study medicine. But the most and best we could do was stay at home, pants optional. Our second year with the abbreviated curriculum went like a blur. Our first national boards exams ushered us into our third year. We were now in the wards and clinics, taking care of patients. For me, year 3 was where I found the validation in patient care I needed to wake up in the morning, the ability to take ownership in decisions, and the specialty I would ultimately go into. Think back to the sleepless nights, worrying you'll miss a page, the soul-sucking monotony of Anki, and the demoralizing UWorld scrollers. In a blink of an eye, a series of 6-week rotations were over, and we sat for our second board exam, now our final year. In that time, some of us completed research projects, PhDs, MBAs, MPHs. We sit here now at the end of our time at Keck, about to transition from students to physicians across the country. I don't think I'm alone with mixed feelings on the state of the world right now versus 4 years ago. The circumstances surrounding the logistics of the ceremony are testament to the turmoil around us and within our hearts. Many of us feel afraid, angry, offended, and still overlooked. The severity and importance of the demands on my attention has left me numb. Minimizing hardship and helping others through difficulties is the nature of our job. I believe it requires a high level of empathy. It may be difficult to fill that role when struggling with concerns of significant personal importance. I've even struggled with several drafts of this speech, as it was repeatedly full of gloom. Your childhood photos, though, helped me regain perspective in the goodness of the world and hope in a better future. Your stories were still entirely unwritten and full of potential. Nothing about you as children preordained the journeys you have taken. I often reflect on how many seemingly insignificant or unrelated events had to happen to me for me to be here today. Our paths, just like our perspectives and values, are influenced by our experiences and a lot of luck. Change any of that by a tiny amount, and I never would have left my hometown or never returned from abroad. I chose to go into medicine at an age later than many of you are right now. On the other hand, several of you have always known becoming a physician was meant for you. Brittany Deadweiler, could you raise your hand? Brittany, she shared with me a story that she told her family ever since she can remember that she wanted to be a doctor. Seeing you dressed as a doctor in kindergarten in a costume your mother made speaks to the dedication and focused tenacity you and others like you must have demonstrated to accomplish your life goals today. Apart from demonstrating your aspirations, many of your childhood photos reflect the personalities I associate with several of you. Anna Pavlov, where you at? Hannah, your photos spoke to me of the uncompromising joy for life. I know your patients will benefit and will enrich your practice. Since childhood, our stories have been influenced by family and friends, some of whom have passed away since we were young. You've accomplished so much despite that loss, and your achievements honor their memory. Eduardo Santos, raise your hand. Eduardo's family lost 4 people in as many years during med school. I know at times the pain made it seem impossible to carry on, but you stayed the course, and where you're sitting right now is exactly where they would have wanted you to be. Another member of our class, Aiden Busugi, where's your hand? Aiden lost the person that inspired him to enter a career in medicine. His godmother worked in war zones for UNICEF, facing down warlords to increase access to vaccines. The loss of your godmother, despite still having so much to give, it was so sudden. We cannot determine when the last page in our story turns, but we can determine what fills the pages between then and now. Many of you lost parents, grandparents, close family friends, and your stories to me were about how you both admired and loved them. Many of you loved ones came from other parts of the world in search of a better home. All contributed tremendously to the people you are today and now you carry on their legacies, embodying their resilience and determination in the face of adversity. Finally, you may have spotted among these photos a couple babies. A number of us, more than represented here, got to welcome new additions to their families while at Keck. My son, Roun, was born just before our MSK final exam and has since been far away in Korea until my wife and I finished our studies. We're picking him up and bringing him home in a few days. His story right now, like yours in your photos, is still unwritten. And I look forward to being the type of influence like the people you've shown me have been for you. Which brings me to the recommendations portion of my discharge summary. We've been told we're all noble for our decision to pursue careers as physicians, and I don't know how much I can say that about me. I find a lot of pressure in that premise that passion for selfless service is primarily the motivation for my decision to become a physician. All of us has earned our seats here today, and whatever our reasons for doing what we do, we belong here. I can affirm that everyone here is talented and will do a lot of good before the end. I guarantee you there will be hardship in the future. But try not to fall to despair, anger, or cynicism. You may stumble on the path. At times you may feel like you don't belong. There may even come a time when you don't recognize the person in the mirror. Finding your way back and moving forward is the nature of a good story, though. Do good by cultivating your communities for the better, wherever you are. Share your stories and hard work. Bring love and understanding to your families. When you mentor the next generation, whether in your family or your future students, reach into your experiences to teach them compassion for others and for themselves. Earlier, I alluded to a lot could have happened in my story that would have made it very different. It is very imaginable to me how it could have resulted in being unhoused or incarcerated as well, just like many of our patients. I try to remind myself when meeting others that have very different experiences from me or perspectives that it's our stories that differ, not our worth or importance as people. Understanding this has helped me get through difficult encounters when I disagreed with the perspective or decision of someone else. Also, understanding that stories can change through encounters keeps me patient and compassionate. Our stories have many pages left to be filled. For many of us, our story together ends at this ceremony, and we will no longer be recurring characters in our lives. Wherever your stories take you, I'm proud to have crossed paths with you. I want to thank you for your submissions. Thank you, Wilson, for helping me compile all these photos. To my ICM group, du hast. And lastly, personally, I want to thank my wife, Youngju, for sharing a life with me that a long time ago I would have never thought was in the cards. I wish you all love. I wish you wonder and problems worth solving. It is my distinct privilege to report at time of discharge the Keck School of Medicine class of 2024 is hemodynamically stable, passionate, and ready for the challenges ahead.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you, Andrew, for that wonderful speech. It is my honor to introduce Dr. Diana Ramos. She is a renowned public health leader and California's second Surgeon General. She received her medical degree from the USC Keck School of Medicine and completed her residency in obstetrics and gynecology at the Los Angeles General Medical Center. Dr. Ramos has written and contributed numerous articles to the OB-GYN and public health literature and has lectured in Spanish and English, locally, nationally, and internationally. The Orange County Medical Association recently named Dr. Ramos the 2023 Physician of the Year, and she was just named the USC Alumni of the Year. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my distinct pleasure to introduce Dr. Diana Ramos.
Congratulations, felicidades, class of 2024. You did it. Hard work, long hours, and at times self-doubt have got you to this moment. As California Surgeon General, I am excited when I think about the limitless possibilities that each of you represents. You are making California and the world a better place. I am honored to be here with all of you today, and I can honestly say Keck USC School of Medicine was foundational for my success as a physician and now Surgeon General. When I think back to my graduation from Keck, I remember the sense of pride and accomplishment in knowing that I had beaten the odds. The memory that stands out is my family being there, about 30 people, and that was just my immediate family. Having been raised by a single mom from Mexico, growing up not too far from where we are right here, being the first to go to college and then becoming a doctor was a big accomplishment to the whole family. I know several of you today share similar stories. To the family of today's graduates, thank you, gracias, for your continuing and nonstop love, support, and encouragement. You are all the rock that helped today make possible. Candidates, please give your family a round of applause. And we can't forget the university's faculty, administration, and support personnel who have worked tirelessly to bring you to this day. Let's also give them a round of applause, please. My message to you is simple. 3 letters that I hope will anchor your career as a physician going forward. USC. Now, not only is that the name of our school, but it is the basis for my message. You, I mean each of you, scholar community, USC. First, the U. As you begin your medical career, make time for you every single day. I know you say, there is no time. And I want to remind you that you make the time to take care of the most important person, and that is you. Now, it could be as simple as walking 30 minutes a day, running, singing, playing the piano, and my favorite is walking my dog. I promise you, you will feel better, less stress, healthier. It will help you be a better person. As author Eckhart Tolle has said, stress is caused by being here and wanting to be in the future. Forget your phone and the 10 things you have to do, and just breathe and be in the now. And I would ask you just to remember this moment, because it really is going to go away in a fleeting second, but this is so memorable. Look around you and look at all of the people that are here supporting you. I remember being on a plane with my then 3-year-old son, who heard the flight attendant say, "Parents, put on your oxygen mask on first before helping your child." He looked at me and he said, "Mommy, don't you love me? Don't you want to put my mask on first?" But when I explained to him that by putting on his mask first, I would have more energy and strength to help him, he said, "Okay, Mommy, go ahead, take care of yourself first." Get into the good habit of putting your oxygen mask on first. For those of us who are first-generation college graduates, first ones to graduate from medical school, you often have extra responsibilities. For me, once I graduated from medical school, I automatically became the family doctor for my whole family. even though my specialty is obstetrics and gynecology. Now, as a Latina, we are taught to take care of others first, our spouse, children, parents, and more. And then we forget to take care of ourselves. Be your own best friend and take care of you. You will be healthier, happier, and a better physician. You will be able to give so much more. You also means bringing your passion into the practice of medicine. Do you love to cook, sing? We heard some singers earlier today. I have a friend who is an OBGYN and loves to cook. She created her own YouTube channel on healthy eating and pregnancy. I have other friends that write blogs on healthy living and others that create apps to help patients manage their health. What is your passion? Bring that passion into your practice. And finally, with you, remember, please, you are perfect, just the way you are. Forget and resist the urge to look at the perceived lives portrayed on social media. That's not real. Celebrate who you are. That's the you in USC. Now, S, scholar. You heard it earlier, but I hate to tell you this, but your education does not stop today after graduation. You are going to be lifelong learners, and with the development of research technology and AI, medical knowledge is doubling every 2.5 months. You're at the precipice where the practice, treatments, and future of medicine are being redefined, and your medical degree confers on you the knowledge and ability to develop and direct how AI and technology can be leveraged. This will give us the time to do what we were trained to do best: listen to and care for our patients. We can engage with our patients and provide the human interaction we know is healing. Your learning going forward will be in your area of passion: OBGYN, peds, internal medicine, surgery, and so much more. You will be doing what you dreamed of doing. I remember being a resident at LA General Hospital, working 36 hours straight on labor and delivery. There were no work hour limits when I trained. And getting an adrenaline rush during a delivery when the baby's heart rate started to dangerously slow down. The staff in the room would yell and encourage the mom to push. After what felt to be an eternity, the cheering and the sighs of relief were the sounds that welcomed the baby when we heard its cry. My residency years in OBGYN were some of the most physically exhausting, but personally and educationally rewarding. I was truly immersed on-the-job training, and those were some of the best years of my life. As scholar, learning is not limited to formal academic learning. It also refers to learning from our patients and understanding that 80% of health happens outside of the healthcare settings. More times than not, a person's life expectancy and health status can be predicted by their zip code more than their genetic code. Remember to listen to your patients and learn from their life experiences, cultural norms, and languages. During COVID, I was caring for a pregnant patient who presented for what she thought was COVID. Someone in her house was infected, but she did not have it. I gave her the instructions to wash her hands, cover her cough, and keep 6 feet apart from the person that was infected. She looked away crying and said, "Doctora, I don't know I can do that. My husband and I live with 6 other people in a 2-bedroom, 1-bath apartment." I was reminded that social circumstances in life determine our ability to stay healthy. You have been entrusted with people's life. Listen to them, learn from them, carry the lessons forward. Scholar, that's the S in USC. And last is C, community. During the past 4 years, you have been surrounded by the Trojan community that has helped you through this journey to this day. You have been through some of the most challenging experiences and lots of delayed gratification. Going forward, welcome the challenges and perceived failures. They are reminders that you are alive and growing, and it is through those perceived setbacks that you are really growing the most and flourishing the most. I have learned in my most challenging times that the right people and the right community are placed in my path. I remember calling Dr. Raquel Arias after a challenging case, tough outcome during residency. She always had the skill to listen and help me so I could put things into perspective, and she still does. So turn to your friends, your family members, and your Trojan family. They are the ones who are there for you. When the time comes, just as you turn to your support, be part of that support for others. Some of you went through match day and may not have gotten the residency program you ranked number 1. You did match, but it was not your top choice. I guarantee you, you will be in the right place where you were meant to be. Embrace that experience and all the perceived setbacks. You will grow and flourish where you are and wherever you go in the future. Your community will be the biggest source of support when life takes you in a bigger direction. For me, my goal was to become a doctor and take care of one patient at a time. 10 years after graduating from medical school, I happened to be in New York on 9/11, and I volunteered to provide medical care. But there were no patients. That's when I recognized that I could have a more positive impact on populations through public health. So I got a degree in public health and eventually became a medical director at the LA County Department of Public Health. I pivoted. And later, when the opportunity arose to become California Surgeon General, it was a dream come true. Today, I am making a difference in the lives of more people than I could ever possibly treat in a lifetime of clinical practice. And I'm applying every experience, everything I've learned along the way, and always pulling in my community to move me forward. That's the C in community. USC, U, Scholar, Community. Your USC medical degree provides you with limitless possibilities. You are armed with an outstanding and empowering education, and each one of you has the seeds of greatness and the foundational knowledge for limitless possibilities and opportunities. I can't wait to see your amazing accomplishments. Congratulations, felicidades, class of 2024. Fight on.
Thank you, Dr. Ramos. It's now time to announce the Faculty Teaching Awards. The first is the Kaiser Permanente Excellence in Teaching Award. The graduating class selects 2 recipients for outstanding dedication to the profession of teaching. Customarily, this award is bestowed upon 1 faculty member from the basic sciences and 1 faculty member from the clinical years. The senior class co-presidents, Neelish and Colleen, will present these awards on behalf of the class.
On behalf of the class of 2024, it is my distinct pleasure to present the Kaiser Excellence in Teaching Award for Basic Sciences to Dr. Joseph Hacia. You keep that one there.
So on behalf of the class of 2024, I also am honored to present the Kaiser Excellence in Teaching Award for Clinical Education to Dr. Kevin Fung.
The Leonard Toe Humanism in Medicine Award is presented on behalf of the Arnold P. Gold Foundation and is given nationally to nominees who consistently demonstrate compassion and empathy in the delivery of health care and who are actively involved in teaching and mentoring. The graduating class selects a faculty and student recipient, and we are pleased to present the Faculty Award to Keck School of Medicine's Assistant Dean for Career Advising and Clinical Assistant Professor of Internal Medicine, Pediatrics, and Medical Education, Dr. Stephanie Zia. The class of 2024 is truly outstanding. They have exceptional records of academic achievement, research, and service. Please refer to the commencement program for a description of the awards and list of recipients, and join me in congratulating them for their extraordinary achievements. That concludes our awards presentation. I would now like to ask Dean Meltzer to come to the podium to confer degrees on behalf of the university. All candidates for the Doctor of Medicine degree, please rise and remain standing for conferment of your degree.
By the authority vested in me by the USC Board of Trustees and President, I hereby confer upon each of you the degree Doctor of Medicine for which you have been recommended by the faculty with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining to. As evidence of this degree, I shall direct that a diploma of the University of Southern California be presented to each of you, signed by its officers and embossed with the seal of the University of Southern California. Congratulations, class of 2024. Fight on and heal on.
You may be seated. We will now present our graduates with their diplomas. All graduates today will receive one degree, but a small number of today's graduates have distinguished themselves by earning additional degrees. Following the class co-presidents, we are pleased to present students who have earned a degree in addition to the MD, a Doctor of Philosophy, Masters of Business Administration, or Master of Public Health degree. Dr. Tanisha Price-Johnson, as the Associate Dean for Student Affairs, please present the candidates for the degree of Doctor of Medicine. Dr. Arias, Dr. Fung, and Dr. Hacia, please prepare to hood the graduates. And Dean Meltzer, please prepare to receive the class of 2024. Candidates in the first row, please stand and proceed to your left up the stairs to the stage.
Dr. Neelish Bagrodia. Dr. Colleen Michael Trotter. Dr. Andrew Drake. Dr. William Joseph Matloff. Dr. Jackson Robert Baker. Dr. Albert Hogan. Dr. Tej Kalankuntla. Dr. Jai Justin Antoine Kemp. Dr. William Micah Maring. Dr. Kratika Mishra. Dr. Jerry Xiaoyu Zhao. Dr. Stephanie Ashley Brito Yates. Dr. Kelly Christine Burke. Dr. Albert Chanwei Chong. Dr. Madeline Ng. Dr. Yasko Mary Mano. Dr. Alexandra Marie McCoff. Dr. Baram Nadim. Dr. Nosakari Joshua Osasua. Dr. Grant Dalton Fingston. Dr. Claudia Quarshi. Dr. Shelby Camille Smallwood. Dr. Joyce Nguyen. Dr. Victoria Yin. Dr. Wenhao Yu. Dr. Fez Abdur Rahman. Dr. Alec Ali Munoz. Dr. Michelle Amendares. Dr. Armin Ashrafi. Dr. Sibu Basikian. Dr. Jacob Aaron Basetta. Dr. James Michael Brophy. Dr. Michael Brown. Dr. Ronald Castillo. Dr. Justin Lee Chan. Dr. Wellington Chang. Dr. Emily Chin. Dr. Eric T. Chin. Dr. Michelle Chin. Dr. Austin Cho. Dr. Raymond Cho. Dr. Brendan Corey Chu. Dr. Timothy Chu. Dr. Kinsey Taylor Cohen. Dr. Casey Collette. Dr. Ryan Andrew Cooper. Dr. Komo Asit Dani. Dr. Brittany Christina Deadweiler. Dr. Nicola DePaulo. Dr. Erica Duran. Dr. Hirsch L. Hintz. Dr. Michael Benjamin Epler. Dr. Ethan Rudnick Faya. Dr. Ryan E. Flores. Dr. Michelle Lee Fong. Dr. Leland Gao. Dr. Brandon Ben G. Dr. Roya Gasari. Dr. Zachary David Gilbert. Dr. Annette Gomez. Dr. Jacob Gomez. Dr. Melissa Janet Gonzalez. Dr. Yana Sophie Gunther. Dr. Jacqueline Guskalian. Dr. Jesse Isu Han. Dr. Tassin Farhan Haq. Dr. Julia Herman. Dr. Alfredo Hernandez, Jr. Dr. Margaret Huang. Dr. Alondra Daniela Hurtado. Dr. Odea Noam Kagan. Dr. Sarah Catherine Kang. Dr. Zain Khalifa. Dr. Abdul Hasib Ahmad Khan. Dr. Alexander Taeyun Kim. Dr. Jamie Kim. Dr. Michael Kim. Dr. Timothy Kim. Dr. Paige Mackenzie Kingston. Ooh. There we go. Dr. Nathan Max Connolly Corman. Dr. Ajay Kaluru. Dr. John Adams Kraft. Dr. Tyler Jacob Christensen. Dr. Charlotte Sheeny Kwok. Dr. Ashley Kwan. Dr. Rachel Denise Lai. Dr. Herman Lavanat. Dr. Elizabeth Ann Legotse. Dr. Austin Hongyi Lee. Dr. Hewan Lee. Dr. Jonathan Lee. Dr. Rihanna Leah. Dr. Joshua Song-In Lin. Dr. Matthew Ern Lin. Dr. Cheryl Lin. Dr. Kevin Liu. Dr. Christy Kwanting Liu. Dr. Gilberto Luna Bojalil. Dr. Diego Luna. Dr. Harrison Joseph Ma. Dr. Ryan Michael Long. Dr. Harrison Joseph Ma. Dr. Glenda Ann Marshall. Dr. Michelle Ann Martinez. Dr. Rahul Mason. Dr. Lauren Elizabeth McCarthy. Dr. Catherine Taylor McCool. Dr. Nathan Menard. Dr. Matthew Noel Mendoza. Dr. Carlin Merkel. Dr. Noah Matthew Millman. Dr. Nare Manayan. Dr. Salam Tassima Mulugeta. Dr. Diana Alicia Nielsen. Dr. Thomas Edward Norman. Dr. Annie Francis Odelson. Dr. Ochanya Oga. Dr. Sophia Pate. Dr. Kristen Unyoung Park. Dr. Soyun Park. Dr. Hannah Adrian Pavlov. Dr. Sarah Beth Pike. Dr. Daniel Lawrence Polyakov. Dr. Justin Chun Kwan. Dr. Mary Catherine Richardson. Dr. Kevin James Robinson. Dr. Nima Reza Saburi. Dr. Eduardo Santos. Dr. Amarani Santoyo. Dr. Rutika Suranath. Dr. Deepika Nilakanta Sarode. Dr. Adriana Shin. Dr. Mega K. Sheth. Dr. Julia Lackman Smith. Dr. Scotty Delane Smith. Dr. Raul Soto Jr. Dr. Eric Arthur Sovereign. Dr. Varsha Kiran Srinivasa. Dr. Eloise Wood Stanton. Dr. Alexander Newson. Dr. April Yue Sun. Dr. Emiliano Tabarsi. Dr. Benjamin Tam. Dr. Andy Tun. Dr. Jane Tran. Dr. Andrew Trong. Dr. Cole Ernest. Dr. Matthew Ernest. Dr. Jessica Vasquez. Dr. Nicholas Christopher Victoria. Dr. Vanya Vojvodich. Dr. Aiden Aflaki Vusogi. Dr. Jennifer Wong. Dr. Mark Cheng Wong. Dr. Rachel Yilin Wong. Dr. Thomas Richard Webb. Dr. Paul Won. Dr. Alyssa Yuli Wong. Dr. Mindy Xu. Dr. Wilson Junhao Xu. Dr. Iris Yao. Dr. Ashley H. Yi. Dr. Paul Yoon. Dr. Simon Yoon. Dr. Roy Patrick Yu. Dr. Edie Zhang. Dr. Charles J. Zhao. Families and friends, please join me in congratulating the class of 2024.
Doctor of Medicine graduates, please stand for the Keck oath and remain standing after the administration of the oath. Please refer to your program and repeat after me. I swear by whatsoever I hold most dear that I will respect the scientific gains of the physicians in whose steps I walk. And gladly share with those who are to follow. I will remember that there is art to medicine as well as science, and that warmth, sympathy, and understanding may at times outweigh all else. I will not be ashamed to say I do not know, nor will I fail to call in my colleagues when the skill of others is needed for a patient's well-being. I will respect the privacy of my patients, for their problems are not for the world to know. I will prevent disease whenever I can, for prevention is preferable to cure. I will protect the environment which sustains us, in the knowledge that human health requires it. I will remember that I am a member of society with obligations to my fellow human beings and the community that extends beyond my pursuit of medicine. Now, if I keep this oath and break it not, may I enjoy honor in my life and art for all time. Congratulations.
Graduates of the class of 2024, if you can, you may flip your tassels to the left to signify your degree. It is my pleasure to welcome you to the ranks of the Keck School of Medicine alumni, an incredibly special group of individuals who have shared experiences at the University of Southern California and the Los Angeles General Medical Center. Dr. Soni, may I please ask you to step forward and deliver the benediction.
As we conclude this long-awaited and well-deserved ceremony, it is my privilege and honor to offer this closing benediction for the families and loved ones of our new graduates. And so I'd like to ask all the parents and grandparents, partners and spouses, siblings and friends and children who made all this possible for our graduating students to please rise as you are able in body and spirit, and let's hear it for the families and our loved ones. To the families and loved ones here today, Our graduating students are courageously entering compassionate careers as healers and caregivers. They have all the right skills, intentions, and talents to thrive and flourish in their lives and in their careers, but we know that sometimes professionals on the front line of caregiving can pay a heavy personal price of emotional depletion, physical exhaustion, and spiritual burnout. And too often, caregivers don't give themselves the same care that they give their clients and patients, and that can lead to stress, anxiety, and anger. And so, I ask all the families and loved ones here today to continue to support your graduates unconditionally. You all now have the extraordinary privilege to take care of the caregivers, to help heal the healers, to nourish them, and to remind them of how proud you are of their selfless service to others. Your presence here today signifies your love and your care for them, and signifies your commitment and responsibility for their well-being. So please take good care of them as they take good care of all of us. And as you do, may you go with peace and prosperity. May you go with blessing and inspiration. May you go with love and joy. May you forever fight on. And may we all say together, amen. Well, folks, that formally concludes our commencement service today. Congratulations once again to the new graduates of the Keck School of Medicine. Happy Mother's Day, and fight on.
Audience, please remain seated until the end of the recessional. At the conclusion of the ceremony, our commencement reception will follow immediately in Levy Library lawn across the street on the University Park campus. You will need your electronic ticket to enter the campus, the same one you used to enter the arena today. To get to the reception, exit the Galen Center and proceed across Figueroa Street to the McCarthy Way entrance, where you will show your ticket to enter campus. The university campus provides an ideal setting for photographs of the occasion that you will treasure, far more so than the immediate chaos that will exist outside of the Galen Center. So please do not stop there, just keep going on to the campus. Which leads me to one final request to my new colleagues of the class of 2024. Please stay in the procession, down the aisle, outside of Galen Center, across Figueroa to the Levy lawn, and don't stop until you have refreshments in hand. Once again, congratulations. Will the members of the platform party please stand for the recessional?